Hey guys, so I saw this video which was about migration from Africa to any of the European countries. This video was done by Dinah Ekweme, and she is saying that Africans should not travel to the UK, the USA, Canada, Australia in 2023. She said a couple of things giving her reasons, and I'm going to analyze some of the things that she has said. I like the idea that all things being equal, Africans will stay in Africa. Now, we all know that due to the states of most of the African economies, it has resulted in the fact that most Africans are going to migrate. It's unfortunate. We migrate because things are not working where we are, so we decide to move and explore other areas, other possibilities. Before we migrate, we definitely have to ascertain the skills that we have, the capabilities that we have, and how we'll be able to explore those capabilities so that we can be successful. Of course, when anyone decides to move into a different country, it definitely will not be like your home country. The conditions there will definitely not be the same as your home country. So you will have to adjust, irrespective of the time frame. Africans should not move to the European countries and the USA in 2023. After 2023, the systems that are set in these countries are not going to change to favor any immigrant anyway. If anything, they refine their systems, they learn from their lessons, and then they move forward. As the time changes, they change to suit their systems. Now, when any foreigner comes in, all they have to do is adapt. As a foreigner, you have to know why you have migrated to that country, set your timelines for your success or the things that you want to achieve. You have to have your contingency plans in place. You have to plan your whole journey. Say, for example, within 5 years, I want to complete university. After university, I want to look for a job. Sometimes, even after university as a foreigner, you might not be able to find a job. But that's just the system, and it depends on the subject area where you studied. If you are a highly skilled person, let's say a doctor or a lawyer or an engineer, then it's more easier to find a job. Now, everyone is different. We all don't have the same capabilities. We all don't have the same capacities. Just like the fingers are not the same. If an individual is moving to another country, I'm sure they will go looking for the opportunities that they have the capabilities for. You cannot bite more than you can chew. If that opportunity is not in your country and it's in another country, then why not? Why not go and explore? But Dinah Ekweme has raised some points, and I'm going to react to these points. Let's listen to her video.
Hear me out. If you're Nigerian, Kenyan, Cameroonian, Ghanaian, South African, whichever country that you're from in Africa, so long as you're my brother, you're my sister, do not move to the UK, the US, Europe, Canada, Australia, the collective West. Do not move there 2023.
So now people who want to travel and explore and find opportunities in other countries are only left with the Asian countries or the Arabic countries or the rest. Now, what if anybody who wants to travel does not have what it takes to be in these countries? It's not just about do not go to the US or do not go to Australia or do not go to Canada, but if I have to go to another country, will I be able to do something there? It's not just a matter of going, it's a matter of what is there for me.
Where you're running to, the citizens of those countries are looking to move out.
Day in, day out, people are looking to move somewhere. Day in, day out, us Africans are looking to move to Europe. Some Europeans are also looking to move to other countries. Humans are always looking to move from one place to the other. The way Dinah presents it, it's as if people in Europe and the US are looking to run away from these locations, which I do not think it's a correct representation. People have been moving across countries for decades, for centuries, for many years. There is inflation everywhere. There are talks about the BRICS, namely Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa trading with the yuan. Russia and the other countries trading in the Chinese yuan will not necessarily topple the dollar, since China has bonds in US dollars and will therefore lose these treasuries. A new monetary bloc being introduced where trading will possibly be done through the yuan does not necessarily mean that traveling to other countries apart from Europe and the United States will be more advantageous. Even if China's yuan is going to be the new reserve currency for trade, it still does not mean living in China or Saudi Arabia or India is a better option for any individual in relation to what they can achieve in life. Life in itself is a whole risk that we have to take. There are no certainties anywhere.
There are certain things in the system that are broken and people are striking for. Do you know how many strikes?
There are strikes everywhere these days. It's normal. The times that we are in, where there's inflation, there's strikes, there's uncertainties, we just have to hope for the best. It's not just Europe and the USA. It's global. The world is a global village. We interact with each other. Nobody is living in isolation. It's all probably because of the Russia-Ukraine war. But the fact that there are strikes in the UK does not mean that things are falling apart. No, people are just saying that increase our wages because life is, becoming a bit difficult because of the fact that the prices of petrol is going high, which is affecting every country in this world. It's affecting every country and African countries as well. Our expenditure is dictated by the price of petrol, and we know that a lot of the petrol and gas that we use in Europe comes from Russia. These things happen. They are normal. There have been wars. They are part of our lives. How many people are able to save in Africa? The fact that you live in Europe or the fact that you live in Americas does not mean you should be able to save. So if this is what Dinah means by with a decent wage you cannot even save, then I think it's also a misrepresentation of everything.
Live their lives without feeling like they're slaving away, which I know you would do literally anything to leave Africa, because you may as well go and be a slave there as long as you're seeing the electricity, the good road, the security. But
We work everywhere. Whether you're living in Africa, Antarctica, whether you are living in Iceland, wherever that you are living, you have to work to support your life. Wherever you work in this world, if you cannot save, you cannot save because you are working to support your lifestyle. So if your lifestyle is not allowing you to save in America or in the UK, then you will not be able to save if you work in Africa as well.
If, for instance, you're in the UK, you're earning £30,000, you cannot save. You cannot save. There are a lot of things going on in the system that are somewhat blind to you who is a foreigner, but those who have been there, the citizens, they know. The free schools you're talking about is on the brink of collapse. The healthcare brink of collapse.
I schooled in Ghana myself, and I can promise that the UK educational system is one of the best. And it is not collapsing in any way, shape, or form. Now, Dinah also mentions that healthcare is on the brink of collapse. I don't know where Dinah is getting all this. I work in the healthcare system, and I know the UK healthcare system is one of the best systems. It's free healthcare. If you want private healthcare, you can opt for it. You can pay for insurance and get your private healthcare. So you've got the choices, you've got the options. Even though healthcare is free, you are indirectly paying for it, and you are indirectly paying for it through taxes. And I think it's a good thing. I mean, there is a good taxing system that helps the system to move. Let's say in Ghana, for instance, there is no good taxing system. That is one of the reasons why the system is not able to work. The system is not able to support itself. So it's not a bad thing when the government is taxing the citizens. And this is why these economies have been able to thrive. If you go to A&E, you'll be taken care of. If you book for a doctor's appointment, and I know all the GPs work differently. For my GP, if I'm able to call very early in the morning, I can get an appointment on the same day and see the doctor.
Somehow, nothing in the West is free. Please get that inside your head, please.
I am talking mostly from the UK perspective. Education is free until you get to university level. You're not paying tuition fees, which is the main thing, but you would pay for your child's food. You pay for your child's transport. So if the UK government has been able to take out school fees, I think it's a great help. This is where you have to be firm as a parent in how you raise your children. Because of your cultural background and where you came from, you have to be smart in how you raise your children. And if you find that the environment is not conducive for your child, that's why I mentioned earlier, you should have contingency plans. If you find that the environment is not conducive for your child, you can always take your child back to where you came from, where you believe that the culture will support the child better. The main reason why you traveled is to find work so that you can feed your family. Once you realize that the environment is not conducive enough for your plans, you can change it. This happens wherever we find ourselves, whether you're living in Africa, whether you're living in Asia, whether you're living in the Arabian countries. It happens. Something will happen and you will have to change your plans.
There are people who literally have to call an ambulance 911 or 999 for emergencies, because they can't literally walk into hospitals and see a doctor instantly.
The only time that anybody will call an ambulance is when it's really an emergency. It's not because you cannot walk into a hospital. It's not because you cannot walk into a hospital. That's why you call an ambulance. You call an ambulance when there's an emergency, just like anywhere around the world.
Some people have to wait years. Some people, when they eventually get to see a doctor, it's they get recommended paracetamol. They get recommended things that you would have even wished you did at home.
And I think this is just gross misinformation that is going on here. I mean, how can a doctor give you paracetamol when you are suffering from something that needs something more than paracetamol? Come on, no doctor in the UK is going to do that. This is going off the tangent now. As it is now, to paint a picture as though it's so bad in Europe and the United States and Canada and Australia is just a big misrepresentation of what is happening. A huge misrepresentation.
That have had to happen since last year and this year in some of the countries you're running to. Germany, France, the protests is crazy.
Yeah, protests does not mean that's the end of the world, or protest does not mean that things are coming to an end in that country. In general, I think that this is a serious misrepresentation of things that are happening in Europe and the United States. By all means, travel to the US, to the UK, to Australia, to Canada. Find new opportunities, learn to better your skills, learn to develop yourself, learn to evolve, have contingency plans so that you can improve on your life. Once you improve on your life, you can also improve on other people's lives. And hopefully you can help to make the African continent a better place to live in. If you can stay in Africa and be successful in Africa, then by all means do that. Africa has got so many resources that if we make good use of them, we can have a lot of successes out of these resources. See you in the next one. Bye.